Hi, I'm Joanne Royley, and I'm the Student Assistance Counselor at Barrington High School. And with me today is Abigail Tutt, and she's a senior at the high school doing her senior project on stress and the effects that stress can have on your mental health. I think we can all agree that kids seem to be more stressed than ever. From elementary school through high school, there is a lot of stress put on kids. Some stress is good stress. Everybody has to have some stress in their lives. But when stress gets to be too much and is completely overwhelming, that's bad for a person. And when it lasts for a long, long time, people can end up having problems with anxiety and depression because of their stress. We know that some people have vulnerabilities to mental health illnesses, and some of those mental health issues never come out if a person isn't stressed. But under a great deal of stress, you're going to see those illnesses start to show themselves. So our goal is to keep people's stress down as much as possible. You can think of stress as 3 different levels: the green zone, the yellow zone, and the red zone. Green stress is okay, it's what we all have. When you're up in the red zone of stress, and it lasts a long time, that can be really dangerous and really wearing on a person's health. Sometimes it's really easy to see when a person is stressed. They just look overwhelmed, they look stressed. But a lot of kids hide their stress. They want people to think they have it all together and that they can handle everything. And they really don't want their parents to know, because they don't want their parents being hyper-focused on them. And it's important that we catch the stress early and work with it. So Abigail, being a high school senior, having gone through school all these years, what are some of the types of stress that you're seeing from your friends and your classmates?
I definitely think the first thing would be homework. We have a lot of homework going on all the time, and some of that is valuable homework and can be really useful for the learning process, but other times it's just busy work and it's less valuable, and that's something we could definitely cut out of students' lives. Also, to go along with that is having a lot of big assignments all due at once. A lot of teachers across different disciplines don't necessarily communicate with each other with regards to when assignments are due and other big projects like that. So spreading those due dates out would definitely be very helpful. Another big stressor in students' lives is definitely the whole college process, getting accepted and how competitive that process has become. And then of course, once you're into schools, you have to decide how you're going to pay for them, and it's a huge financial commitment, and that can definitely cause a lot of stress in students' lives. In addition to the academic pressure that students are facing, there's definitely a lot of social pressure as well. There's a lot of pressure to begin experimenting with different drugs and substances. There is pressure to look a certain way, to act a certain way, and that can cause a lot of stress in students' lives as well.
There are other stressors that, as a counselor, I see a lot at the high school. Some of those revolve around family issues, such as divorce, maybe the illness of a family member or the death of a family member, adapting to new blended families, having to relocate, maybe a family's having some financial difficulties, or there could be substance abuse of a family member. Kids also have to deal with peer pressure and sexuality issues. They also can have a lot of parent pressure on them. Parents can set unrealistic expectations for their children, whether in academics or in sports or in extracurricular. So Abigail, what are some of the things that you think parents and the school could do to help eliminate some of the stress on students?
So I think the school can play a really big role in this, with helping students learn to cope with stress and teaching them strategies. This is something we could probably easily do in health classes or gym classes, periods where students can learn to deal with these things for themselves.
Abigail, what are some of the coping strategies that you think students need to learn?
There are definitely a lot of different techniques out there that already exist, things like yoga, meditation, mindfulness, even just teaching students how to better organize their time. I think it's really important that students begin to learn ways to cope with stress. There's a lot of different research on things like yoga helping, meditation, and mindfulness, but there's a little bit of confusion as to what mindfulness is. So Mrs. Riley, could you explain what mindfulness is?
Sure. Mindfulness is sort of centering your mind to stay in the present moment and not to worry about things that are happening later or things in your past, just to be mindful of what's going on in the present. And it's a method of slowing down, taking in the temperature of the room or the sounds you hear. And it's very calming. It's a calming tool. It slows your heart rate down, and it takes a lot of practice. It's something that takes practice to get good at, but I think it's something that everybody could learn.